Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to my kitchen. As you can see that I've got everything ready to make my pizza. Okay, this is the dough. Everything is not mixed yet, so I'm gonna mix them all here. So what do I have here? I've got 500 grams of flour, then I've got salt and sugar, yeast, a single egg, oil, and 50% water. That's how I do my pizza dough. So, for an example, if I add 500 grams of flour, then I tend to add half of the liquid, which includes an egg. So that's how I do it. You might want to skip the egg, but I tend to add an egg into my dough, which makes it even more appealing. So I'm gonna mix them up. Mucha obsesión. Alright, so initial mixing is done. By the way, I've added oil, 40 grams of oil. Did I mention it? Or I don't know, I might have forgot that, but here it is. I've got a little bit of oil over here. What's gonna happen adding oil here is that my dough would be smooth. So what kind of pizza that I'm trying to make today? Well, it will be a hybrid pizza that's gonna mimic Italian, New York, and obviously my local taste, because hey, I'm making it. Once I'm done kneading my dough, it's gonna go on for the fermentation process, and that'll probably take around 40 to 45 minutes. Okay, so if you have completed a diploma in bakery and pastry production, then you know that there are 8 stages of yeast dough. I'm not gonna get into the detail, just know that the vital 2 stages are once you are done measuring your stuff is fermentation, and then another step that we gotta take to get a second rise. It feels just a little dry, so I'm just gonna add gradually add just a little bit of water. Uh, if your dough is dry, then you're gonna have an issue with the yeast, because you need to have like a moist dough for your yeast to become active. Okay, so that's moist enough. Like, even after adding measuring your recipe, if you feel like your dough is a bit dry, then you can add just a little bit of water, just a little bit. Okay, But I mean, you'll know once you start doing this, get some experience, then you'll know when to add and when not to add. Yeah, now it feels really good. And since I've added granulated sugar, you're gonna need it. I mean, every time you add granulated sugar into your dough and use yeast, make sure you knead it really well, and make sure that you don't feel the sugar crystal on your hands no more. Okay, on your fist. You're gonna make sure that it's all dissolved because it's gonna play a role activating the yeast. Okay, so like I said earlier, that if you conduct a formal study, say you complete a diploma on bakery and pastry production, then you'll get to know that sugar and water plays a crucial role uh, on your yeast dough, and it brought context in baking in general. Now it feels really good. So I could have done that. I could have kneaded my dough on my countertop. I have a marble on top of this counter, but it's gonna mess this up, so I would rather do it on my bowl, and it's big enough so I can do it, and I know how to do it. You always gotta make sure that you pull the bottom of your dough and bring it to the top. Push it like this. Like this. And once I'm done kneading my dough, we're gonna start making the sauce that'll go into my pizza. I'm not gonna use bottle sauce. I never do. I like to make my own sauce, the base that goes into my pizza. You gotta press hard. And that is the hardest part of making pizza, especially if you don't have a dough mixer. That's the only way to go. All right, I think I can now rest it. Leave it for the fermentation process to kick in. And for that to happen, I'm gonna take all this, put it inside. Okay. And and just to moist hand, just a little bit of water, run through your hand on top of your dough. Make sure that your hand is wet like this, and leave it like this and give it 40 to 45 minutes for a rise and for the fermenting process to kick in. I'm gonna have to cover it, okay? So this is actually a mold, 8-inch mold that I'm gonna use for my pizza. I've also got one more 12-inch mold and one more 8-inch mold, so 3 would be sufficient. So now I'm gonna close it like this, and I'm gonna put it aside and forget it about for 45 minutes. And in the meantime, I'm gonna start preparing myself for the sauce. So let's do this.